Well, finally, after what has been a very long wait, it looks as though the Canon G7X Mark III and the G5X Mark II are about to be released. The vlogging community has been waiting a very, very long time for these cameras, particularly the G7X Mark III. I've actually made a couple of videos in the past about some previous leaks, and we've never seen them. But now it looks like that is about to change, and all the major rumour sites have published a fairly detailed specs list on the cameras, and they're talking about an imminent release sometime in the next few days. So I thought I'd come down here to Middleton Beach while I'm giving the dog a run during a very brief respite from the storms that we're getting at the moment, to talk about this exciting news. So what do we know about the cameras so far? Well, as expected, they've got what appears to be an updated 1-inch Sony sensor, the Digic 8 processor, raw shooting in photos up to 30 frames a second, 4K video, full HD at 120 frames a second, and a 3.5mm microphone input, which is really exciting because that's been a feature that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. So it looks like the G7X Mark III has got exactly the same lens, that's a 24 to 100mm f1.8 2.8 equivalent lens. Little bit disappointed that they haven't changed the lens, but the G5X Mark II does have a new lens though. It's actually going out to 120mm equivalent, which is a great range, I think, and maintaining that same 1.8 to 2.8 equivalent aperture as well. So, you know, good effort, Canon. If you can pull that off without too much compromise to the image quality, I think that is quite an achievement, to be honest. The prices at the moment are rumoured to be $750 US for the G7X Mark III and $900 US for the G5X Mark II. That is quite steep. I'm a little bit surprised that Canon have priced them at that, but they do tend to put things quite high on release, and then they allow some room for some rebate, and obviously street prices vary, and after the camera's been out for a while, you expect it to be discounted anyway, so it's just a starting price, if you like. So some questions that I've got based on the rumours so far is that there's been no mention of dual pixel autofocus, which is a bit of a concern. Now, it could be that if they're using a new Sony sensor in these cameras, that there's going to be some kind of embedded phase detection autofocus, which would be great. That is a great autofocus system that Sony have got in their RX100 series. But I'm a massive fan of dual pixel AF. I think it is the bee's knees for video making, and to not have it there, you know, Canon are the masters of market segregation, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they withhold, or it's just not possible because of the Sony sensor. So I'm going to be very interested to find out if that dual pixel AF actually does end up being part of the cameras. Also, no mention of a built-in ND filter, which is something that I use on my Canon G7X all the time. It's particularly useful for video because it allows you to use that maximum wide aperture and a sensible shutter speed in sunny conditions, and without it, it's not ideal. And these cameras don't have a thread to be able to attach one either, so I'll be waiting very keenly to find out if there's an ND, because I definitely would like that feature. Is there going to be a crop with the 4K in these cameras? And if so, and I think there probably will be, how severe is it going to be? Because there's been some more budget orientated mirrorless cameras and so on coming out lately, and they've had some pretty severe crops in 4K. Panasonic G95, I'm looking at you. So hopefully that isn't going to be too much of a drawback with these Powershots. With these increased specs though, you know, that 4K video, that 120 frames a second, full HD, you got to wonder what kind of penalty is there going to be to battery life. There's only so much that the Digicate is going to be able to do to help with that. So are they going to come with bigger batteries to compensate for all that, or are we going to be looking at a really measly battery life? And speaking of battery life as well, I would really like to see USB charging in these cameras. I think it was in the G1X Mark III, which I don't own. Was it in the G5X Mark II as well? Let me know, I'm not sure. I think it's a must though in these cameras really. And yeah, I expect it will make its way in there. Is there going to be a flat profile? And some ability to tweak some settings as well would be nice. Contrast, shadows, highlights, saturation, that kind of thing. So at least we can mimic a fairly flat profile and then get some better flexibility in grading. I think that that would be really nice to see. A lot of people, vloggers in particular, are scratching their heads as to why there is no sign of hot shoe on either of these cameras. That basically means you don't have an obvious place to fix a shotgun microphone. I'm surprised, particularly in the G5X Mark II, Canon didn't include that, being the premium model. It's the price you pay, you know, the design, they've got this pop-up EVF, which I think is nice to offer, again, on the more premium model. It's going to be a drawback for a lot of people, but then again, there are microphones from the likes of Etuji, the ETM001, which you know, is just a little tiny microphone that goes straight into that 3.5mm input. It is omnidirectional rather than a unidirectional shotgun mic, so it isn't going to isolate the voice from background noise, but it'll keep wind off if you use a windjammer. So it's better than nothing, and I'm really pleased to see that at least we've got that 3.5mm input, hopefully, if the rumours are true, because it does give you at least that ability to get that high quality external sound. You might have to use a bracket or some kind of cage, whatever, to be able to use a shotgun mic. But you know, you can plug in a lapel mic. So yeah, I'm really pleased to see it. And in general, I think these are going to be great cameras. At the very least, it's great to see Canon continuing this range of compacts. And I guess we won't have long to wait now until we find out what the actual finished products are when they get announced, sometimes in the next few days, maybe already by the time you watch this video. So that's it, just a quick chat here on Middleton Beach in Albany, where I live on the south coast of Australia, Western Australia. Just taking Sark for a walk. It's going to rain in a minute, so I better wrap it up. But yeah, I'll probably make another video once these cameras do get announced. Thanks for watching. Check in with me again soon for another video, and speak to you then. Bye.